Hello and welcome to Culture Word of the Year edition here on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Yes, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary has titled the word culture as their word of the year, and we're certainly going to take at least some of the credit for that. I'm sure that if they watch today's show, they will not be disappointed, because today on the program we'll talk to pianist and conductor David Greilsammer, who bridges hundreds of years with music. We'll take a look at a new magazine signaling that print is still very much alive, and the Israeli drummer that took YouTube by storm. David Greilsammer is a world-renowned pianist and conductor, originally from Jerusalem. He's the music and artistic director of the Geneva Camerata and has recently released a new album, Scarlatti and Cage Sonatas, which mixes the music of the two great composers. It is my pleasure to have him here in the studio. David, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about what you do, because it's the thing that you're most known for is something that for most people is pretty far from obvious. You take two pieces that are separated by hundreds of years and you put them together somehow.
Well, this is something I've always been interested in, not particularly two pieces in general, but just bringing together different worlds, because I find that, especially in classical music, which is my field,
kind of your thing.
It's usually, you know, we kind of do the same things, and I find that it's just so fascinating when you can bring 2, 3, 4, 5 different worlds together, let them speak, let them have a dialogue. That's really when the most incredible things happen. It can be with, you know, Baroque music meeting contemporary music. It can be with jazz music meeting Mozart's music. It can be with many different things, but as long as there's a dialogue, that's what I love doing.
Right. And what did you find that doing just this juxtaposition, what comes out? Is there something new that these two known pieces can bring?
Yeah, well, the best example is indeed with this new project that I've been touring with, and there's also
a new album out, right, on Sony. It's
Scarlatti and Cage, which, you know, these are two composers that are separated by 200 years, have absolutely nothing to do with each other if you just look at them just like that. Absolutely improbable, but when you actually put them together, play the pieces, alternate between sonatas by Scarlatti, sonatas by John Cage, you actually see, if you just let your imagination go wild, you see that there's so much in common with the sonorities, with the phrasing, with just all sorts of things happening in the music.
You know, I'm curious though, how many people are willing to let their imagination go wild? Because, you know, classical music, as you said, it's kind of the same thing, and the audience that attends the concerts kind of is expecting to hear the same thing. Are they open to this new approach?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what you say. That's, you know, our problem in the classical field is that usually people are not really open enough to hearing new things, to let their imagination go wild. And this is, in a way, why I want to do these kind of projects.
Is it also a way to keep classical music relevant and new for maybe younger?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to bring new audiences into the classical music world. We want to bring those young people coming in and keeping what we do fresh. We can't just keep on doing the same thing we've been doing for 150 years. It's going to die at some point. So also what I want to be doing is telling people, you know, classical music can actually be fresh, it can be different, it can be, you know, an adventure. And with these kind of projects, we can actually do it.
Now, you have a few tools in your arsenal to tell this message. You're also a conductor and a pianist. Is there something that you enjoy more, that you're more passionate about?
I love doing both. These are, you know, two very different things, but that can complement each other. You know, when you're sitting at the piano, it's kind of a very solitary world. You're just there in your bubble, performing, and then when you're a conductor, you're surrounded.
You're trying to get the attention of the guy in the bubble.
Exactly. And you're surrounded by extraordinary musicians, and you're really kind of diving into the music with the people around you, and you're creating a sound with all these people.
Yeah. You're also the artistic director of the Geneva Camerata. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you do there.
Is,
do you try to also bring this new sound?
Absolutely. This is a new orchestra. It's very exciting. We have about 30, 35 young musicians, virtuoso, who come together to create together unusual projects that actually bring together all different kinds of audiences, not just traditional audience, and we perform all sorts of kind of music, not just classical, but we perform contemporary, and we do jazz, and we do world music, and we even do electronic project, really all sorts of things. And again, as you said, also with this kind of group, we can bring music closer to people and present very, very unusual projects.
David, thank you so much. It sounds beautiful, and it's a beautiful project and a beautiful album. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Now, since the internet took over, the consensus is that print is slowly dying. But is that really the case? Recently, a new interesting magazine went to print here in Israel. David Gombin went out to smell the ink, feel the paper, and bring us this story.
In the age of information, journalism is changing. Facebook is fast becoming the world's leading news outlet. To find the basic facts, people need to look no further than their smartphones, and media executives are struggling to figure out how to attract consumers to actually purchase printed product.
We
can assume that the need to check the weekly paper will continue, but this will eventually change now that people can read their news from screens like on tablets. Reading from a screen is quickly changing the shelves. Therefore, the future of printed press is destined to disappear.
Much like in TV production, the answer seems to lay in content, with the assumption if it's good, people will pay.
Our product is very different from other magazines because it's monthly, because it's heavy weighted not only in product but also in the content weight. Yes, it's big articles, it's more depth, it's timeless, it's not something that involves in matters of day-to-day. So it's more close to a book than to a daily paper, so it sits perfectly in the bookstores.
The Mook print press, which is between a magazine and a book, sold in both newsstands and bookshops, is among the new, relatively successful journalistic trends. In France, the 21st century was a big success. In the US, The New Yorker is an early example of this form of print. High-quality content with a very long, sometimes timeless shelf life.
Actually, it's pretty strange because all the world went to digital, and everybody thinks, you know, I'll establish a website, I'll establish a blog, and I'll be a hit immediately. It's more difficult to reach online to people that you want than to reach in printed media, because here you have the product, you have the outlet, you have the action course, you know how you distribute, how you work on it.
Danone may be calm because at his back is Leonard Nevzlin, a Russian oligarch exiled in Israel. Nevzlin is not the first wealthy person expressing interest in the media, more as a source of power than a profit. And in that sense, not much has changed.
Now, Meital Cohen is an Israeli-born, California-based drummer who has become a worldwide phenomenon through YouTube. With millions of views and followers, she's well on her way to becoming the web's #1 drummer. Daniel Campos has more.
Petite with a huge smile, Meital Cohen has the speed and drumming skills desired by men and women percussionists around the world. She's therefore one of social media's favorite drummers, a role model for her loyal fans, among them die-hard heavy metal heads, firemen, teenagers, and even little children. But who is Meital and how did she become so famous? She was born in Ramat Gan in 1984, the youngest of 7 children. Her father tragically died when she was in 2nd grade when a drunk driver crashed into him while he was standing on a sidewalk. From then on, her mother was responsible of raising the family on her own. Meital started playing drums at the age of 18, the same year in which she was drafted to the Israeli Defense Forces, where she served for 2 years. At age 21, she moved to LA to pursue a drumming career. It was there that she attended the LA Music Academy, but she encountered a major setback when she suffered a serious car accident. But brighter days would come for Meital when she decided to upload an audition video that was rejected by the popular TV show America's Got Talent. This video became her first major viral hit, a cover of Toxicity with her friends playing electric violin. She then continued to upload her videos to YouTube, mostly covering hard rock and heavy metal tunes. Today, as a result, she has accomplished over 115 million YouTube views and over 1 million Facebook likes.
I'm making this video because I want to be able to produce a full album, and I need your help.
In 2013, she tried crowdfunding $60,000 to release her first original album, but instead, she got $144,000. Her success has led her to collaborate with big names in the industry, such as Pharrell and Nelly Furtado. But Meital is not only a YouTube sensation, she's also a marketing expert. Her online shop sells drumming lessons on DVD, shirts, drums, and all sorts of autographed merchandise. She is not the only successful female drummer on the web. Worldwide competition is quite big on YouTube. Young Japanese drummer Senri Kawaguchi is on her way to becoming an international sensation. Montreal-based French-Canadian drummer Emmanuel Caplet also has a large following. From Argentina, the tough-looking Nea Batera also has a growing online presence. And pink-haired American drummer Mary Voiles not only drums, but also likes discussing social and taboo issues with her fans.
But in my experience, the majority of people I've met feel uncomfortable about their sexuality at best. Ashamed, guilt-ridden, and resentful at worst. And I just think it's bullshit.
The tradition of female drummers is not a new one, and we shouldn't be surprised by it. It is due to chauvinism and institutionalized sexism that society has labeled percussion instruments as masculine. But according to percussionist scholar Lane Redmond, ancient artifacts and paintings reveal that ancient women were the original drummers. Meital is one more, continuing the ancient legacy of drumming.
In a moment, we'll see just how damaging was the recent computer hack to Sony pictures. But first, here's our cultural recommendation for the day.
82-year-old Argentine photojournalist Sara Facio has donated over 200 images to the Museum of Fine Arts of Buenos Aires. Her collection includes original photographs from the 19th and 21st century, many of them taken by internationally acclaimed fine arts photographers, such as Werner Bischoff, Manuel Álvarez Bravo, Sebastião Salgado, and Lucien Clerc. Among the iconic images on display are intimate photographs of figures such as Coco Chanel and Yehudi Menuhin. Sara Facio gathered this collection over the past 50 years, and its cultural value transcends the personal. Therefore, she wanted to make it accessible for visitors in the largest museum of Argentina.
And now Daniel Roth from The Economy magazine is here with us to give us an idea of just how bad is this recent computer hack for Sony?
The short answer is very bad. There's kind of two major fronts in which it's bad.
The long answer, I would guess, is even worse than just bad.
Yeah, it's very, very bad. This is going to cost, analysts are saying, somewhere around $100 million to the studio,
Really?
which is not chump change. It's not nothing. It's not quite the $170 million that the PlayStation hack a couple of years ago cost, but it's $100 million in lost box office, in lost clout. It's a big deal on the money front.
Now, and it got to this number because there are films that were leaked online even before they were released to cinemas.
Right, and so there's films that people have access to now. For example, if you go online, you can see parts of the interview, which is kind of the reason for the hack.
Some say,
at least the rumors say. But But a lot was exposed. We saw the films that are out, films that aren't out. We saw the inner workings, the kind of rude emails, sexism, racism, all of these things internally in the Sony corporate structure.
Right. So it's
all
not
of this
just
stuff.
the box office cash that they're gonna get less of. It's also the fact that Sony's reputation has been tarnished,
Right.
which is something that can stay around for years and years.
A long, long time, and we can estimate they're not the only corporation with these kinds of
I'm
internal
sure they're not.
cultures.
Give us a taste, just we're almost out of time, but a little bit of what we've seen.
We learned that producers think very lowly of Angelina Jolie. We saw at minimum racially insensitive emails from Amy Pascal, who's the only plus $1 million executive woman there. We learned that there's only one plus $1 million out of something like 18 executives who are paid very highly. There's one woman paid over $1 million.
Wow.
We saw a lot that leaves you questioning what kind of culture is going on inside the studio.
I'm looking forward now to the film about the hack that's definitely going to come out at some
From
point.
Universal, though.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for watching us as well. We'll be back tomorrow with a special edition. Join us then as well.